Hi, we're on page 1233 in the Chumash. It's not our custom to read the Haftorah. This Haftorah is widely read in the Ashkenazi community, and for good reason.
We'll read it at Mincha or at Shachrit? Or
Only by Tisha B'Av we read this Haftorah. Yeah. There's a famous prophecy, and it's continuing the theme of what I mentioned today in the morning. It's a prophecy found in Yeshayahu, in Isaiah. Two different themes are found in this Haftarah, but the one that I wanted to focus on was the one I started today in the morning, that is, fast days are a time to do tshuva. It's almost become the world that fasts, you just sleep the whole day and, ignore it the whole day, work the whole day. Forget why it is that you're fasting, just get it over with. Wait until 5:21, if you go to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, 5:24, whatever it would be. That's, the fast is kind of there to get it over with. The word fast is all about getting it over fast. And the word in Hebrew is a ta'anit, not a tzom, we don't want to speed through it. It's unfortunate that that's the way fast days have been observed. Even Tisha B'Av, which is the hardest, emotionally fast day of the year. Obviously Yom Kippur is the holiest, but Tisha B'Av is the hardest. I saw an article that said the top 20 movies to watch on Tisha B'Av.
Imagine that. Yeah.
And they interview different summer camps. What movie do you watch on Tisha B'Av? That kind of... It's an unfortunate situation where Tisha B'Av or these holidays exist in order just to get over with. And so even those who say, okay, to spend the whole Tisha B'Av, they watch Schindler's List or whatever. It's important to remember the tragedies that fell on the Jewish people on these days. But it's not, the Tisha B'Av might sound, it's not there to knock you down as much as to realize what can I do to fix it. And I'm in question whether you should spend the whole day thinking about tragedy as much as the whole day thinking about what can I do to fix it. So this fast is not Tisha B'Av, but it's a Sa'ah B'Tevet. If we would focus on what happened, it's not as helpful as what can we do to fix what happened. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, the prophet says, Yeshayahu says, Dirshu Adonai bihi matzah. Seek Hashem when he can be found, or where he can be found. Kira'u biyoto karov, call him when he is near. It's an interesting saying, the prophet said. Call HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he is near. When is HaKadosh Baruch Hu near? Is he ever far? No, he's not really ever far. We say in Ashrei 3 times a day, Karov Adonai lechol korav, Hashem is near to all those who call him, lechol asher yikra'uhu be'emet, to anyone who reaches out to him with genuinity, authentically. That means that if you're at a baseball game and you're betting on a certain team, you don't say, oh Hashem, make sure that they win because I need to get my $20 on this. That's not a genuine request from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lechol asher yikra'uhu be'emet, truthfully. It could be that there are times in our life that Hashem really is close, but we're not there. We don't realize how close he is. Kind of like a parent wants to help their child, and the child thinks, oh, you're being overbearing or overprotective, or you're raining down, it's too much. What the child, it could be that parents are overprotective, but what the child doesn't realize is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to be close, and they're not being receptive to that closeness. There are times where HaKadosh Baruch Hu has tried to do something for us, and for whatever reason, we've been distracted. We've been involved in something else. We've been focused on something else. It says, take advantage of those opportunities that you feel Hashem close, because there you have a chance that you're in the zone, to make sure you're in the place where you could reach out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sometimes tragedies are what actually bring people closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a sad thing, but sometimes something bad happens, all of a sudden I remember there's Hashem in the world. Why? Even when something bad happens, it happens because Hashem wanted it to happen. So, there are 2 ways to have a relationship with your doctor. You can meet him, on your general checkup, or you can wait until you have to see him over a defibrillator, sending electricity through your chest. Hopefully it's never going to be the second one, rather it'll be the first one. But both of them are relationships with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The hard things that happen to us are HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, you've waited too long since the last time you checked in. And so I'm checking in this way. Hopefully it won't have to be that way. So reach out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he's close. Don't force him to reach out in ways that we don't need him. Ya'azov rasha darko, v'ish aven machshavotav. An evil man should leave his way, and a person who's, iniquitous, a person who's a bad person, he should leave all of the things that he's thinking about. V'yashov et Adonai v'yerachamehu v'el Eloheinu ki harbe lisloach. He should return to Hashem, and he will show him mercy, to our God, for he will be abundantly forgiving. It's a crazy thing. Imagine if somebody, and you tell them, listen, this is my car. You can sleep in my house, you can eat my food. One thing I ask you not to do, don't touch my car. And what do? The first day there, you wake up in the guy's bed, you eat all of his food, you smash in the window of the car for no good reason. And then you break off his mirrors. And then you rip off his tail from his car. The guy comes back. He's going to be upset at you. Yeah. What's it going to take for that guy to invite you over again? I don't know. I wouldn't invite you over again. That's a
court order.
A court order.
Stay away from me.
We do that to HaKadosh Baruch Hu on a daily basis. He says, live in my world, eat my food, drink my water, do anything. Just don't break my car. Just don't break Shabbat. Just don't eat not good. Just don't do the things I'm asking you not to do. And we deliberately go out of our way to break the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us not to do. And he still says, don't worry, all you have to do to come back, just say you're sorry. Come back, say, I'm willing to not break your car again. And guess what? Tomorrow we'll come back in. A day will go by, we don't break his car, we'll do it again the third day. And he'll take us back again, and again, and again. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us, Ki lo machshevotai machshevotechem. The way that I think is not the way you think. V'lo darchechem derechai. And your ways are not my ways, ne'um Adonai. This is the word of Hashem. Now, Yeshaya was telling us a teaching. Very often this sentence is used to tell you, don't try to understand Hashem. You'll never understand Him. So don't break your head trying to understand Him. That is a true interpretation of this verse. We will never truly understand how Hashem runs the world. I want to teach this pasuk to interpret it in a good light. Hashem is saying, unlike you, who if I broke something that's yours, or I stole from you, or I hurt you, or God forbid, whatever, you would never want to talk to me again. Don't look at me that way. I will always take you back. There's nothing you can do that will make you distant from me. You have to change, obviously. You have to work, obviously. But Hashem's saying, my ways are not your ways. The Hasidic masters tell us that very often the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, its whole purpose in life is to tell you, you're not good enough to come back. You've done too much damage. Listen, how many Shabbatot did you not keep? So now you do the math. You're 50 years old. How many more years do you think you're going to live? 40 years, 50 years you're going to live? You think you're really going to be able to keep Shabbat as many times as you broke it? You think you really... So it's not worth it to just let this life go around. Anyways, they're going to send you back for a rerun. To do it the next time. Don't work hard this time. You just... Like now you want to start being holy. Yesterday you were eating not kosher. Today you want to come pretend you're a holy person. You're going to learn Torah. You're going to pray. So the Yetzer Hara, this is the way he works. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't fall for this trap. Ki lo machshavotay machshavotechem. I don't think the way you think. I don't hold grudges the way you hold grudges. I'm not that kind of... I'm Hashem. I'm different. That's the way we learn it for the better. Ki ghavu HaShamayim. Oh, well, maybe there's a Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. He said an interesting teaching. There was a rabbi, his Yortzeit is today. I think today. Rabbi Natan. Rabbi Natan was the foremost student of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. And Rabbi Natan is essentially to Rabbi Nachman what Rabbi Chaim Vital is to the Arizal. Or what he is the student that wrote down everything his rabbi said. He actually grew up in a home that didn't even hear about Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. He was in the yeshiva of Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin. He came across a book from Rabbi Nachman, was so impressed, he just ran after it. And actually, I'm confusing two different personalities. I was reading about a different Breslov rabbi, not this one. Rabbi Natan came from a family opposed. He ended up meeting Rabbi Nachman, became a former student of Rabbi Nachman. Just a different story. He wasn't in the yeshiva of Rabbi Tzadok. And Rabbi Natan wrote many of the books of Breslov that you have today. He said that once, binyan hitchaskut, once Rabbi Nachman was strengthening a person. Leval yipol ha'adam b'darato, so that a person shouldn't become depressed. Rabbi Nachman's chassidut was very much focused on don't be depressed, don't be sad, be happy. Because and many Hasidic masters resonate this teaching. You have, for example, the first stolen Rebbe, the Rabbi Aaron of Karlin. He says that the averot that you can do when you're sad are much worse than the things you can do when you're happy. Yeah, you could do crazy things when you're happy, when you're either you're drunk, but the things you do when you reach a state of depression are so much worse than the things you could do the other way around. So it would be better for you to do averot out of happiness than to do averot out of depression. Now, obviously, this didn't sit well with the Lithuanian Jews. Yeah, and they saw this as see, the Hasidim, all they want you to do is dance on your head on tables and drink vodka. It could be that there were Hasidim who perverted this teaching, yeah? It could be in the famous words of "Don't worry, be happy." This was do things out of happiness. So Rabbi Nachman told this person. Clearly, the man had said, "I've ruined so much in this world. How can I fix it?" Rabbi Nachman says you have two choices. You can believe that nothing that you do in this world is up to you. You don't have a choice. Nothing you do in this world is up to you. So, if you believe that it's not up to you to fix it, so it wasn't your fault that it happened bad anyways, so just let it go. Don't get involved. You're just a robot here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is pulling the strings. You're a puppet. Or you can believe what Jews believe, and that is, if you believe that you have the divine power to ruin something, to mess something up, to destroy it, you must believe that you also have the same divine power to fix it, to repair it. This teaching is a very important teaching. If you believe that you messed up something in your life, that must mean you have the power to do that. That must mean you have the power to go against Hashem's greater picture or the good picture. Well, if that's true, then you must have the other opportunity of being able to fix it. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to say.
Wow.
Hashem says, one more, it's an incredible thing. You can read a book and say, Hashem says, that's a nice thing. It says, Ki gavhu shamayim me'aretz, just like the skies are far from the earth, my ideas, my ways are more lofty than this world. Again, that goes to say before, it's talking about being the greater person, being lofty. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being lofty by allowing us to return. Just like we have outside rain coming down from heaven, snow we don't see yet in San Diego. And it won't go back to heaven. The rain won't, it will eventually, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows this. What is it? When will it go back? It will only go back once it quenches the thirst of the land, and it gives birth to new plants and new life, and it gives food and bread and all the things that the land needs to do. That's when it will go back. The same thing is with my words, says Hashem. Anything that comes from me, it will not return to me empty. Only when my words that I promise will go and they'll be successful, that's when they'll return to me. So perhaps this is a proper understanding of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to say. There's a story in the Gemara, and I'll end up with the story. Rabbi Akiva, alav shalom, he was alive when the temple was destroyed. Can you imagine what the Jews felt like when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed? It's like everything it already happened once. I mean, we messed up a second time. This was how much more patience HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to have with us. The Jews are walking together. The rabbis are on the Temple Mount. I don't want to say that this might be a proof that you're allowed to go to the Temple Mount even when there's no temple. Rabbi Akiva was on the Temple Mount with the other rabbis. And they were walking around and they see a fox coming out of the Holy of Holies. You know that the Holy of Holies, the only being that could go inside was the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, the high priest on Yom Kippur. Anyone else who would go inside would die. You see a fox, that's like a sly, slick, lying creature. You see it coming out of the Holy of Holies. The rabbis' hearts were broken. They were broken. And it reminded them of a prophecy that says that there will be foxes in the Holy of Holies. Shualim ktanim mechablei karamim, King Solomon, the little foxes that ruined the vineyards. And they were broken. They realized this was a divine decree, that was it. That was the end of the Jewish kingdom. And Rabbi Akiva is the only one who's not crying. Rabbi Akiva starts laughing. They say, Rabbi Akiva, what's wrong with you? How are you laughing when you see such a thing? Rabbi Akiva said,
Why are you crying?
He says, I'll tell you why I'm laughing. He said, until today, I never knew the redemption was going to come. Said, what redemption? Redemption? Who's talking about redemption? We're seeing now destruction. He said, it's true. Hashem promised us destruction, and then he promised redemption. But the destruction never came. Now that I've seen the destruction come, how much more so I know the redemption will also come true. Because Hashem's prophecies will always come true. And that's where Zechariah says, he quotes the verse from Zechariah in chapter 8, that old men and women will one day still sit in the streets of Jerusalem, and the courtyards of the city, and the little children will be playing in the streets, and a person will be so old and healthy in Jerusalem, they'll be leaning on their staff because they're so old. That's going to come. So this day will come again. There will come a day where the children will come back and the adults will come back and people will be living in Jerusalem. Rabbi Akiva, in the epitome of destruction, the highlight of the destruction, he saw the redemption. Because he knew that Hashem doesn't ever say something and it goes back. Achashverosh, we say about him, Purim, not so far away. Achashverosh says that once I sign something, I can't take it back. What do you mean once you sign something, you can't take it back? It's almost, if Achashverosh promises something and he can't take it back, how much more so Hashem? Hashem promised everything's going to be good. He promised we're going to come out of the exile. He promises that all of our lives' problems are going to come true. Ki v'simcha tetzeh, and the verse continues, you'll come out with happiness, with joy, with singing, with dancing. Hashem promised us these things. If you believe that you're in San Diego, and that you're in your own personal exile, whatever it is, financial troubles, if it's family troubles, if it's troubles at work, whatever it would be, you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised just like those were going to happen. He promised that the redemption is going to happen, the personal and the communal, the large one, the national level. So B'ezrat Hashem, both our communal redemption should come and our national redemption should come. We should all go back home singing and dancing and only full of joy. B'ezrat Hashem.